numbers on the likes of Renekton. We saw him also bringing out Malphite, Shyvana, those kind of champions in the early season. But they've definitely, I think, as a team, not just to pick on Xaxus there, fell off the pace a little bit. The final ban coming out here will actually be Morgana, which is interesting for me because I feel like Roccat might have just gone Thresh either way.
Yeah, I agree with that. If Thresh was on the table, I think they would have gone their route. I feel like Vander's a slightly stronger Thresh player than N-rated, but we know N-rated likes to play those engaged supports. Leona's still on the table, Annie's still on the table. So if N-rated wants to play one of those aggressive supports, removing Thresh from the table makes his life a little bit easier for engaging, a little bit easier for landing those stuns and CC in the early game.
Lulu coming in for Roccat. We've not actually seen them play Lulu in that mid lane up until now. So Overpower gonna be running that. I say Overpower gonna be running that. Of course, it could end up in the hands of Xaxus. Other teams have gone for that one. On the other side for SK Gaming, hovering over the Candy Panda and locking that in for the Candy Panda. The Caitlyn for Candy Panda, which we've seen him play so well on. Last game against the Wolves, prime example.
I believe he's played Caitlyn 4 times this split, unless I'm mistaken, and this is a very smart pick for a number of reasons. Because Sivir was banned away, it means that sort of those top tier AD carries, Caitlyn, Lucian, and Sivir are off the table. SK removed Lucian from Saliva. Saliva's played that also 7 times this split. Saliva's played Caitlyn 10 times this split. So not only is Candy Panda on a strong AD carry that he played yesterday that helped them win the game, he's denying it from his opponent. Also, Kha'Zix was banned against SK yesterday. When SK did play the Copenhagen Wolves, it was banned. Now it's available, and Svenskeren basically instantly locks that in.
Is the Elise possibly? I was going to say, what are we going to see from the AD carry? And that's kind of just answered my question straight away. Jinx will be picked up here for Saliva, and if I'm not, he has played it actually. He played it against SK in the first time that they actually met in the season. Of course, that was a win for SK Gaming, and Elise as well picked up there for Jack. It's a champion which he was so scary on in the early parts of the season.
Yeah, so I have to be honest, I'm a little bit afraid about that Jinx pick, because if Svenskeren is able to get a little bit of a lead, get an early Elder Lizard or something along those lines, that is a super squishy Jinx. At this point in time, there is a wild growth. Yes, you can save Jinx for a moment or two longer, but if Kha'Zix can get onto him, there's no safety net, there's no escape mechanism on that champion. So we've got a lot of damage from both of the compositions so far, but the added utility that Roccat has with that sort of mid lane Lulu, could be top lane, we've seen it in top before and by a couple of EU teams, as well as escapability on the Elise. I think they've got a slightly more well-rounded team on Roccat so far, as long as Jinx doesn't just get instantly blown up.
So what are SK going to add into this one? They obviously banned out the Morgana support themselves, and it is going to be Karma coming in here for N-rated, and we'll see Freddy 1-2-2 on the Jax in the top lane. Funnily enough, last time that these two teams met, Freddy playing Jax in the top lane.
So the one thing that we are noticing from Freddy as a player, when the likes of Renekton and Trundle are not ideal or not preferred, Freddy tends to fall back onto Jax and Aatrox. Those are his preferred top lane picks. We've also seen Xaxus playing Aatrox in the past. So the question is now, what does Xaxus want to play? Does he want to go for an AP top laner? LeBlanc has made it all the way through to the second last round of picks. He's played LeBlanc in the top lane before. Or does he want to go for something a bit more standard and traditional like a Trundle, which is something that Xaxus has also run a multiple of times in the past?
Definitely running down the clock on this one. Roccat hovering over that Sona at this point of things, and possible Aatrox for the top lane. Just to recap on the last game that these two teams played, it was Aatrox versus, this could be interesting, Aatrox versus Jax in the top lane before, but they're going to lock in the Gragas. So it looks like we're either going to be seeing a top lane Gragas or a top lane Lulu out of these two, depending on what that final choice is going to be in the mid lane for SK.
I wish I could make an educated guess on what it's going to be, but Roccat as a team, their mid lane and top laner are very versatile. We've seen Overpower running Vlad in the past. I think if it's going to be LeBlanc mid, which is locked in, we are seeing Jez as an assassin. I thought it was going to happen this week. I almost feel like Lulu mid may be a slightly better option. Yes, you can play safe with Gragas, you can keep LeBlanc on the back foot, but I almost think that the LeBlanc v Lulu is a slightly preferred matchup. As it stands though, there is so much damage on the side of SK Gaming. When you see these team fights happening, SK are looking for a pick. LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, Caitlyn, they want to jump on a single target, delete him, and then let Freddy on Jax clean up. If they do not find a pick early in a team fight, I think Rockat's disruption and crescendo and wild growth is going to be enough to allow Roccat to survive the extended team fights. So that's what we're looking for, a well-timed wild growth to prevent resets from the side of SK.
And that Xaxus is going to be, that Lulu will be with Xaxus in the top lane. Funnily enough, there's not many top laners that are venturing out of the bruiser category, to be honest, but he is one of them. We've seen him playing LeBlanc, for example, already up in that top lane, so interested to see how Xaxus gets back on the horse. And the great thing, we interviewed the Roccat guys earlier, and they were so openly honest about how badly they're playing right now.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. I almost can't sympathize because you hear them saying, we just need to play more. If you know you need to play more. Play more. It is your job. You're on the stage. You're here to perform and, you know, deliver for your fans. Let's see if this is their game.
See if they can pick it up this week. Remember that you can tell us who you think will win these matches over at lolesports.com. For this match, it looks like SK Gaming is your team of choice, garnering 52% of a very, very close vote.
Yeah, very close indeed. I think as far as teams are concerned, SK probably slightly stronger coming into it, but we'll see how the game plays out.
So we are going to be getting into game here in just a second. Roccat, let's not forget, not in a good way here, losing the last 4 games in a row. This would, funnily enough, put SK into a 4-game winning streak. If they can make it 4-0, and so many falls around this story, it's destined to happen somewhere along the line. Well, here we go, in-game. Can Roccat turn things around, and can SK keep this run going? Because they've only lost 2 out of their last 11 games. Phenomenal numbers they've put up.
Yeah, fantastic record. You know, I was doing the math just before we came on air about how many weeks that works out to worth of games. And it sits on the cusp of 5 weeks worth of games. And I think if you compare them to the other top-tier teams, Fnatic had a good 3 weeks. Gambit have been shaky and inconsistent the entire split long. Roccat, they had a good 3 weeks. So this is already approaching, you know, double the time at the top of the table that any of the other teams has been able to secure. SK need to find picks. When we look at the composition of Roccat, that is a super, super, super squishy bottom lane. So if Svenskeren is going to be looking for ganks or Jesus is going to roam, their target is a massive Jinx or Sona because they can just get popped very quickly.
And one thing that we've always given credit for to SK Gaming is that Svenskeren has been in the right place at the right time. He's not scared of getting involved on the bottom side of the map and making sure that Candy Panda and Enrated have a safer time. And they're just going to have a big target painted on towards the Roccat bottom lane because it's squishy. As, to be honest, is the top lane a bit more utility in Xaxus there, but certainly an open target for someone like Jackson and Jackson Kha'Zix, who've got the slow and got the stun in there.
So to break down the lanes a little bit more, I think the duo lane of SK is significantly stronger in the early laning phase than that of Celeva and Vander. The Caitlyn and Karma is going to outrange both Jinx and Sona. And the way Sona wants to get her power chord poke off is going to open her up to a lot of Karma harass. If Karma's going to throw down that Mantra plus Inner Flamer Q, you can zone out Sona, slow her down, prevent her from getting in range. The thing is, Enrated has to be on point with that. In the mid lane, Gragas is going to have the advantage early. Once Jesus gets some damage, he should be able to look for an insta-kill on Overpower. But I actually feel like the laning phase of Lulu versus Jax is heavily in favor of Lulu. Glitzer wants to slow her down, and this is the damage talking about on Vander. Lulu's going to be able to Glitzer launch Jax. If Jax leaps in, turn him into a Munchkin. He's no longer a threat. You can run away with your own little whimsy and movement speed.
Look at Vander there, taken to way below half HP at this stage, and even when he's trying to get aggressive here and put the poke down of his own, he's just keep repeatedly getting hit there by Enrated. Yes, he has heals in that bottom lane, but is he going to be able to keep up with the constant spamming out of abilities that Enrated puts in?
At this point in time, Enrated's damage will be higher than that of Vander's, in addition to the fact that Vander needs to cast 4 spells before that power chord is available. However, Vander does have the sustain. The heal is on his side, so over time, Celeva and Vander should be able to get an advantage, but that is exactly what I'm talking about. Enrated casts the Mantra, then the Q, and the Inner Flame AoE on the floor is just going to slow Vander down.
Look at the top lane. There are 4 icons hovering over each other here. Jankos sat off to the side, ready to go in. Are they going to make the dive on towards Freddy? Svenskeren is there, but he's slowly but surely making his way down towards the Wraith camp. So this could leave Freddy quite exposed. We all know it's dangerous to jump in on towards that Jax when he's got his counter-strike spinning. He can lock you up underneath the turret. But will they actually go for it? More minion waves actually coming in from this one. They've actually spotted Jankos now, so they know he's there.
This is going to be a little bit of a difficult dive, but very luckily, all of the damage from Lulu's in her ability is not an auto attack. Let's see if the cocoon lands.
Oh, damage first coming in. They're going to stun up Jankos. I think Xaxus is going to go down from this one. Jankos actually getting the first blood, repels away. Xaxus was very, very low in that fight, but it was nicely executed overall.
Yeah, decent attempt by Freddy to try get one back, and I think he needed to have flashed that cocoon to get away from it, but that was a point-blank cocoon coming out of Jankos, so it was going to be very difficult to dodge. Roccat with the early lead, and they need to make this stick further. The kill landed in Jankos' back pocket, so he needs to make this work for the rest of the lanes, because ideally you want that on your carries.
Bottom lane pushed up once again. Candy Panda and N-Rated poking out as far as he can. Vander actually getting a good few heals off from this one. Actually, we see that missing, and N-Rated might be in a bit of trouble here. He's going to get slowed down, but we'll be able to walk off to the safety of that back brush where there's no vision for Roccat.
Yeah, both of the teams putting a lot of damage onto the respective supports. If that W was available from N-Rated, I can't recall the name, he's going to be able to root Celiva down as he chases in, but at this point in time, Celiva's just going to be happy with a poke, and he's going to back away for now.
And that's the problem that you have here with the Jax against Lulu. We see him diving in, he gets slowed down instantly, allows you to get off some free damage as Candy Panda goes low. Celiva actually taking damage from a siege minion and a couple of others in there as well. And in the end, we see them both on similar health totals. Vander going to be able to top off Celiva a bit more though.
So the longer this laning phase goes, the better it's going to be for Celiva, because his rockets on his Q is going to be able to outrange some of the damage that's coming out of Candy Panda and Rated. The only catch is, of course, that it is mana dependent. So Celiva's got to really work with his resources. As it stands, that early advantage that Caitlyn and Karma had is slowly being mitigated. As Vander gets more levels, he's run out of mana now, so the heals are going to be dropped down. But you're going to have that kill potential with the crescendo, the splash damage from Celiva's Q, and then his ultimate of the Super Mega Death Rocket. We'll see if they can make it work.
This could be a risky dive. Svenskeren at half health, and I was going to say, I'm not sure you want to jump into a Lulu there who's going to immobilize you basically with that ridiculously strong stun. Svenskeren decides, you know what, I'll get a ward in there. We'll spot Jankos actually coming up from the wolves at this point, and I think they did see Svenskeren there. There was a ping on towards his general direction. Svenskeren does back away and didn't really get much from the Roccat jungle on that pass.
Not a lot. He managed to get the big whites and was able to back away. What I do like, though, from Roccat is you can see on their first backs, there was a pink ward picked up by Jankos. He's just thrown that into his jungle. Oh, bottom lane, Enrate's going in.
A lot of damage. Piltover does land. Vander force to flash away, but Enrate's going to be deep. He has to flash away as well. Both AD carries both thinking, what are you doing, guys? The support's going very deep there against each other. In the end, no kill, though.
None at all. Both of the AD carries have their respective summoner spells, and Vander is low on HP, low on mana. He needs to recall, get himself some maybe mana regen. Maybe the likes of, you know, I actually almost would have expected an Ancient Coin for the mana regen. Candy Panda feeling very brave with that shield from Karma, but not really winning in that trade. Sona's just going to heal Celiva off.
And almost approaching level 6, which makes him a little bit more dangerous. And speaking of 6, that's what we've got in this mid lane. Overpower at half HP. A bit more left there for Jesus. We'll see if he does decide to dive in for this one. Actually, credit to Jesus. He's ahead in CS right now with LeBlanc against Gragas.
That is a very difficult task, but it's one that, you know, we've seen Jesus on LeBlanc in the past. He has the ability to play the champion, and now that he's level 6, he's going to be working towards a little bit more ability power, and I want to see how he roams, because one of the things that we've noticed in Jesus as a player, in the opening weeks, he didn't move around the map, and it was costing SK. He wasn't there when they were challenging for objectives or trying to push other lanes. But as the split has gone on, Jesus was more mobile, and he wasn't rooted in place. And on a champion like LeBlanc, you have to be moving around. You have to be looking for opportunities, looking for people to blow up.
I'll look at some of the items here, specifically that bottom lane, because you've seen their first recalls back home, and there's going to be a bit of disparity there. BF Sword and a single Doran's Blade for Jinx. On the other side, Vamp Scepter, double Doran's Blade there for Candy Panda. Needs that extra sustain that he can get from a lifesteal.
Yeah, you've nailed it. Because of the fact that there is no heal in that lane for Candy Panda and rated just a shield, it does look like Candy Panda's opted to go for a slightly more sort of early game type build with the double Dorans as well as that Vamp Scepter. We talked about Jez's roaming. You actually seen on the minimap, he was moving to the bottom lane. He's going to find overpower. And that is a lot of damage from that barrel already.
Not quite got his Athene's in there. In fact, only has an Aptome and Doran's Ring at this point. Jesus does have his Chalice finished off, and of course has that blue buff as well, so he's going to have better cooldowns and the mana to keep diving in there and trying to harass, overpower out that lane. And speaking of harassment, once again Roccat find themselves stuck underneath their turret in the bottom.
So what I like about Roccat so far is they do have much more wards in the map. They have 3 pink wards, 1 on their blue buff, 1 on the opposite side of their red buff, and then 1 in that bottom try. And they've also got a whole bunch of wards in their inventory. So now that Sven's roaming around the map, he hasn't even spotted that pink ward. He's not going to be able to clean it out. And you'll actually notice that Roccat seem to be responding. You can see Jankos moving in, and here comes Overpower as well. Sven's in trouble.
Oh, he's all kinds of in trouble. Actually, they're going to knock him by there, but that will help Svenskeren. He dives over the wall. Ultimate walls, of course, used for him, and Svenskeren quite happy to just back away from that, knowing that, okay, got a little bit close for me, but I'm safe now. I know that pink ward's there.
Yeah, on the assumption that Roccat keep the vision up and manage to respond, it'll be well, but Vander's going to die.
Oh, Vander is going to die. There is the tether procking off. Actually, we see Svenskeren stood on top of the flame jumpers and still managed to get it with the rockets.
Yeah, managed to kill secure that one, I believe, is the terminology we're looking for. I wonder if Svenskeren actually even had his leap. I hadn't noticed if it was in cooldown or not. Does manage to just get rooted in place, but a kill back for SK Gaming. That was a problem that we see from that Sona support. She's so squishy. If you get enough damage or enough time, she can die. Now we do see Jankos coming in from behind. Candy Pen and Enrager, they want the fight.
Salva going a little bit though. There's a super mega death rocket. Jankos is going to come in for this one. The barrier already used. The flash there from Candy Panda. Rebel from Jankos, and he gets the finisher. Can Enrager get away? There's a lot of damage. There's a cocoon. He's not going to get out. Selva picks up that one.
That was a great play there from Jankos. Selva actually managed to pull members of SK towards him under the tower. He got some damage down and threw out the super mega death rocket to balance out the damage. Then Jankos was just on cleanup crew. He manages to get 2 kills. So Roccat are finally doing what they have not been able to do in many of their previous games. Get themselves an early advantage, get themselves an early lead. It does look like they're setting up on Dragon. People could get popped. Jesus goes in, he's going to catch Vander.
No one getting popped. Jesus actually knocked down to half HP, and I think the Roccat are going to be able to push through from this one. Dragon already down to less than half HP, and this is going to be not only the first Dragon of the game here, but the first Dragon that they've got against SK Gaming all season long.
Yeah, in the 4th and final time these two teams meet, we will be seeing that Dragon going the way of Roccat. So, well played. They've got themselves a nice early advantage. It's about 1,500 gold. Jesus has not been allowed to roam, he's not been allowed to move around the map, and the 1 time or 2 times that he has tried, Overpower's had a decent enough response. So, first pink ward there, and it's going to get dropped. And I think Roccat need to replenish those wards. They need to keep vision on them, because at any time Svenskeren comes in with that ultimate, there is always the threat of him going unseen, going invisible, and making your life very difficult.
Well, let's have a look down some of the other items here from this mid lane chalice. In fact, let's forget that because Jankos is moving in. There is a crescendo. They're going to go for Enrated. Super Mega Death Rocket stepped by the side, but Enrated's dead anyway. Vander picks up that one. Candy Panda might be able to put some good damage back. Gets him low, but can't finish off. 4-1 Roccat.
Very good play once again. That wasn't even a flash crescendo. So Vander able to get his team yet another kill. And because he's got his flash available, they can actually rinse and repeat that another time. Jankos has had much more successful ganks than we've seen from Svenskeren, and this is going to be Sven's first real opportunity. Zazas, I think he's going to get away.
Lulu. Speed yourself up, run at the speed of light back behind the turret. Svenskeren was coming in stealth after he went through that bush, which actually gave his position away. And Lulu coming straight back into this lane here. He's going to do some good damage to Freddy, using the wild growth on himself. Freddy going to take a lot of damage from this one, but has he got enough to finish off? Is he going to go underneath the turret? Zazas at full HP. Freddy goes off to the wall with the leap strike and survives with hardly anything. Now Svenskeren's coming around. Zazas is going to walk in, walks back out. Yeah, indeed. Overpower coming in there for assistance. Svenskeren wisely backs off.
So that was good play by Zazas, using all of the tools to his, abilities. Got the speed buff to get away from Svenskeren very early on. And that is basically what we were expecting from this Lulu versus Jax matchup. You can see the tower's about to fall as well. So Roccat, they got the first dragon of the game. They're going to secure the first tower of the game as well. And this is a very, very good position to be in. The thing is, they're against a team that needs to find picks. So yes, if you can keep Kha'Zix down early, that's a very good position to be in. But the moment Kha'Zix or LeBlanc find 1 or 2 kills, they have the damage to kill these squishy targets often. So Roccat need to keep their vision up. That is very key to dealing with this pick composition.
Well, speaking of LeBlanc, she's coming down towards this bottom lane. However, blue buff is up, and Svenskeren already moving in to start that one. There's a nice deep ward, actually, from Roccat, just over the top of the wall from River. That's going to spot Jesus moving in there, and we'll also spot him not coming back in towards that bottom lane. So that'll be a little bit safer to actually start pushing out. But there's a lot of wards down now on both sides of the map, so we'll see how that all starts to carve out with the first turret going down as well in that top lane. See if there's any rotations coming in from Roccat.
Yeah, what we also seen from Roccat as far as the itemization is concerned, Zaz's got himself a needlessly large rod as well as an Amtome, so not going for your traditional Athene's into Lichbane build for Lulu, so this is slightly different from what we're used to seeing. In addition, Vander sold that spell piece very early. Jankos is very brave, he's going straight on Jesus.
A lot of damage coming in there as well.
That's just Sorceress using and Elise's base numbers. Probably a big reason why they've been dropped at 4.4 on live. We are on 4.3 for those of you watching. But yeah, Vander, he did sell that Spellfused Edge. He's going to be working himself towards that Talisman of Ascension. And when you can combine his E plus the Talisman move speed buff once he eventually gets it, that is a lot of power for both engage and for disengage. So I think that's a very smart pick overall.
And Raider got the luxury that he's got a bit of a talisman built into his kit there with Karma. Oh, look at this Panda. Julie, three-man crescendo comes in. Candy Panda's low. And Raider's already dead. This should be 2 kills coming in for Roccat. Svenskeren did manage to take out one. Svenskeren trying to get through the brush. Gun repelled from Jankos. Drops down on his target. Meanwhile, Jesus going low in the bottom lane. Oh, there's the explosive cast. Dodged away from by Jesus. Will they finish off the tower? I don't think so with Overpower so low. Oh, wow. Why is he going back in there? Flashing from Zazas. That was a massive miscalculation from Jesus.
Jesus should not have been there. Zazas was able to get the kill and, more importantly, get the blue buff for himself. All of a sudden, Roccat grabbed 2 towers. They get the buffs on their both AP carries, and they have 5,000 gold lead. Freddy's doing the best he can to reply with this top tower, but if you look in the bottom lane, Roccat are getting some deep vision in and around the blue buff, playing this one safe, and they're going to back away. This is a great position for Roccat and Roccat fans.
SK being Rockat's kryptonite, even in the early stages where they were doing so very well. In fact, they went in their first 6 games 5-1. And the games that they lost in there, including the co-playing walls, SK Gaming came back to haunt them 3 times now, but game number 4 is looking a lot better for Roccat. They've already got so many more dragons than the other ones. One of them, which is something that they've not done in any of the previous 3 games, well, they've got off to a solid lead here. 5,000 gold is what they have in their favor. 8-2 in kills. There's 2 kills on the AD carry. Elise has started to be, well, I say starting to become scary. Already is very scary. Got haunting guys in there now.
Yeah, Jankos and Elise is terrifying. I believe this is the 8th time that Jankos has actually played Elise, and he's been sort of hit or miss on this champion. He's had 3 wins, 3 losses. I think it's 3 wins, 4 losses actually with yesterday's loss as well. Jankos is going to take some damage from Sven, but not afraid at all. Sven's in trouble.
Yeah, there's Elise's damage, and Svenskeren, you are in trouble, my friend. He's going to use 1 charge there of his ultimate. Repel comes in. 2nd and 3rd surely will be used. Cocoon just drifting wide, and Svenskeren escapes.
Yeah, pretty good play by Svenskeren to at least use that speed boost that he gets from the camouflage of Kha'Zix to get out cleanly. This is what we need to see from Roccat, is getting more pink wards and getting some vision to deal with Kha'Zix in those team fights. As it stands, Roccat have got such a good lead. They've got enough damage to kill him even with that damage reduction. They just need to make sure they maintain vision on him. So Dragon goes the way of Roccat. Freddy does at least reply to the tower. Ooh, Celevar, a little bit in trouble. He's gone in.
He's gone in. I'm not sure he's going to get out. Ace in the hole comes through, but the jumper's gone, Jesus! And there is a push around. Super Mega Death Rocket as Candy Panda gets catapulted into the team. Karma saving his life there, though.
6,000 gold lead. Roccat are now sieging this inner turret. Freddy's been left unchecked on Jax right now, and we'll have to see if he can make any impact when he joins the team. If he joins the team, Freddy's in the top inner turret, while the rest of Roccat on the mid inner turret.
They may keep going. There's a crescendo. No flash for Vander, but if it crescendos anyone, they might be able to destroy him. There's the inner turret in the mid lane going down. And the inner turret in that top lane is going to fall as well. We all know that Jackson is sound of hammering away on towers. Good little counter play from Freddy, but if you weigh up the trades mid lane for top lane, it's not quite as even.
It's not worth it, and it's not enough. At this point in time, because SK are so far behind on gold, they cannot afford to be in a 4v4 or a 5v4 situation. They don't have the greatest of wave clear. Yes, Caitlyn and Karma can probably do a good job, but when you've got so much burst, from the Gragas, the Elise, and the Jinx with the tower diving ability that they offer. You don't want the squishy targets of Caitlyn and Karma on the front line. You want them to be safe. The front line of Svenskeren and Freddy needs to be there to buy their back line some time. I feel like with the gold lead that Roccat has accrued themselves, barring monumental misplays and getting caught out, they should be able to just siege down these towers, use the Gragas barrels for zoning, and Jinx to melt the tower HP.
Down some of the items, tried to get there before and rudely interrupted by a load of crazy action, and that might come across again. Vander using the power cord on towards that blue does in the end go over to Jesus. Haunting Guy's second item coming in as we are seeing Freddy being chased down. There's the rappel over the top of the wall. Freddy, is he going to be pushed onto here? And Rated starts to move in. Wisely, Roccat don't chase through.
Yeah, so Freddy right now is scrambling for items. He's got the makings of a Blade of the Ruin King. He's got some MR to deal with the double AP. I think he needs a little bit more MR to deal with it. We've got the makings of another confrontation. Freddy's gone in on Jankos.
I'm not sure that's the wise choice. So Wild Growth actually didn't get the knock up. Here comes Jesus from around the side. They've crescendoed on towards Svenskeren. That's going to be 2 kills coming down from Roccat. The rest of SK need to back away. Freddy's going to get caught, and that is 3 kills. Meanwhile, Celiva is romping through the bottom lane turret.
He's got himself an inner turret. The rest of Roccat are peeling to the top tower. These are 2 of the fastest games that we've seen all split long. Gambit destroyed in the previous game, and Roccat seem to be doing the same. Celiva's going to get the inhibitor turret. Nobody from SK can defend.
And is Karma coming across? Not being funny, but
don't do
Rated, you might die from this one. He gets excited from the turret takedown, moving in there. Zap lands. No, it didn't land. Actually, that was the auto attack. The Zap went wide. Well, Celiva alone gets that bottom inhibitor turret. The rest of the team took down the inner turret in the top lane. There's nothing outside of SK's base.
So this level of aggression and map play is what Roccat did to secure themselves first position earlier in the spring split. They came out swinging in every single game against all of their opponents. And it was thanks in large part because of Jankos' ganks and them not losing their lanes. Roccat have done a phenomenal job this game, only giving up 2 deaths on their squishiest champion, on Sona. So like, it's been flawless rotation and map play. 7 towers to 2, over 10,000 gold right now. They've got both of the dragons. They're in a great place.
And SK Gaming, they've done so well with having a very by-the-book kind of style. They'll take this objective, move around to the next one. One of the best ways to, oh, well, there's a kill onto Rated, missed that one, but he goes down anyway. One of the best ways to disrupt that is to have a chaotic playstyle, and Roccat have been all-out aggression at this point. We can see starting off Baron, we're waiting for someone to come in. I don't think SK are going to come anywhere near this one. After that kill and Rated, this is a freebie Baron.
Yeah, there's nothing SK can do. They're too far behind right now. SK's composition relied on finding picks and going even in lane, and then finding picks in the mid-game to take objectives. There's not the greatest of siege power here from SK. Yes, Karma's going to offer some damage, but it's not going to be anywhere near the same level of Gragas or anywhere near the same level as Lulu. So at this point in time, SK's comp is just being outscaled and outplayed by the way Roccat have played theirs. It's also something SK needs to work on. When they've strayed away from those mage mid laners and that sort of slow passive style of gameplay, SK have not been as dominant, have not been as scary. Happened with Zed when they played against Gambit in Super Week. It's happening now as they're playing with LeBlanc. Sven probably doesn't want to go in there, and he does actually get away, luckily.
More put down. That's going to lead to half of health taken away from Candy Panda as it came out. But Roccat were actually waiting. They're going for this open inhibitor.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be able to get this one. With the explosive cast available, as well as Crescendo, we'll see what Vander can do. He burned his flash to get away from LeBlanc a moment or two. But look at this. SK cannot contest. They're too far behind on gold. The only way for SK to make a play now is for Roccat to be split up and for SK to be aware of it and then jump on somebody when they're alone. Because as it stands, as long as Roccat stay grouped, they can win the team fights.
13-2 up in kills, 12,000 gold, 7-2 in turrets. Bit of a whitewash at this point, and not what we were all expecting. I think we heard Alex saying it's 3-0. SK are on a tear right now. Roccat have lost 4 games in a row. On paper, this should be almost easy peasy for SK Gaming, but that's just not how it's worked at all. Roccat openly said earlier at the start of the show when we talked to Jankos and Vander that they're not performing, that they're probably not playing as much as they should right now, but you can't really tell. Jankos said, I need to play more because I'm not playing enough. He's 5-0-3 with Elise at this stage. He's got he's come back to his form from that early season, if not better, with this performance.
Completely agree with you. I think at this point in time, the way Jankos played that early game and the presence that he had with Elise, nobody from SK could deal with him. I mean, Jankos basically could 1v1 Jezzes at the 12 or 13 minute mark, which you should not really see happening, but he's on a champion that has the ability to do that. Elise, when she gets ahead, is dominating. Her base values are so incredibly high. That's why you can get away with that Haunting Guy Sork shoes, because you can rely on the percentage base to melt through SK Gaming. Right now, Roccat, they got the inhibitor, gonna wait for those super minis to be in the base, and I feel like they just need to play the siege game now. Let Lulu and Gragas zone out members of SK and just get Zelova onto the tower, because with the BF Sword, Bloodthirst, and Static Shiv, those towers are not going to last more than a few seconds at best.
Svenskeren might not last longer than a few seconds either. He's in that brush. You should hit B right now, my friend, because you're not going to get away if they spot you. There is the jump back. Actually going in, putting decent damage on toward Jankos, and the minion actually catching out the cocoon there as well. But Roccat now find them in the position that I think they should be in at this stage of things. Just sat outside the base. They're going to throw barrels in. There's a cocoon landing on towards Enrayton. Super Mega Death Rocket did connect, but didn't have the desired effect. There is the ultimate out of Overpower, and it's not Candy Panda low. Well, they're returning some decent damage. Jesus, bit of an awkward combo there goes. Like, I think he misordered his spells.
I also think that Roccat a little bit on the same page. They may have wanted to go for that kill onto Karma and then siege up the turret. Overpower, however, he held his cast. Look at the damage that they're putting onto SK Gaming. If SK stick around for this next wave, there's a good chance they're going to die. Zelova's now on the tower. They've stunned Jezzes.
Yeah, Crescendo, he dives right in. If you saw his position, that was almost a perfect position to be doing tons of damage, but the stun came around. That is the second inhibitor turret and the second inhibitor going down. Yeah, they're going to try and finish it here. They've got those super minions rolling in from the bottom lane. They've got Jinx, who at this stage is going to be absolutely mullering those turrets unless he gets jumped on by Freddy. There's the wild growth. Freddy finds himself going down instead, and that surely is game here. 2 men down for SK. Roccat don't have the minions. They're going to finally start trickling in. First Nexus turret goes down. SK sat at the back of the Nexus knowing that there's not a whole lot they can do about this one. There's the explosive cast, knocking Candy Panda back. And Roccat here, are they going to try and finish it? They are focusing that Nexus down, and they are going to break their bad run against SK and go 3-1 behind for the season, but this was a much needed win for them. Maybe more importantly than taking down SK, they've stopped the ROC and the bad rut of form that they've been in. 4 games in a row they lost. You can see what it means. And Jankos says, thank God, they can't from that one.
Absolutely phenomenal performance from Roccat. SK Gaming never stood a chance. If you go back all the way from the beginning of that game, the very first gangs coming out of Jankos, he ends the game 6-0-4 on Elise. And, you know, the pick composition from SK, they needed to hold even. They needed to not get behind, and they just got blown up left, right, and center. Everything Roccat did worked in their favor.
And I tell you what, if there's ever a time you're going to need a sports psychologist after a defeat like that, they're going to have to be picked back up, because we know that SK are a very emotional team, and I almost want to say touchy. You know, if they have a bad run of games, it's hard to see them